Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. We're going to start a little tutorial here on this album cover and how to achieve a specific look using a character, an image of your choosing. So let's get going. The first thing I'm going to do is in Photoshop, I'm actually going to go and open up the image that I want. Mine here is on the server, so I'm just going to grab this image of Scarlett Johansson. I think it'd be better here if we could all just use this image. I think the first thing I'm going to want to do maybe is crop this image down a little bit. So I'm going to come over here to the crop tool, and I'm just going to crop this up like this until I get it framed kind of exactly how I want it to look. I'm only going to use this portion of it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do for this is make sure that this is a smart object. So I'm going to right click on this background layer, and I'm going to convert as smart object. Once I do that, now I can put some filters on here, and I'll be able to change them afterwards if I want to. So the first thing is I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur. And I want to really kind of make this a big blur. So depending on the image that you are ultimately going to use, it's going to depend on the size. I'm going to blur this one out probably about 70, 80%, something like that. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to double click on this blending options right here. Double click that. And I'm going to change this blending option to divide. Okay. And I'm going to say OK. So I get this sort of an image here. The next thing I'm going to do is go up to Filter and Camera Raw Filter. And on the top here, I'm going to go to, I can either come here in black and white, then it changes to monochrome here. Then I want to come over here to these profiles. And I'm going to click on my profiles. After I do this, I'm going to open up the black and white profiles that I have. And I can just skim over some of these profiles. And I'm just kind of looking for one, in my case, that takes a lot of the definition of the face away. So one, I want some more contrast. I'm just going to use 5. Okay, I'm going to click that. Then I'm going to come up here and go back. And now, under this basic category, if you open this up, I can still change a few things to get this to look a little bit cleaner on the face, which is kind of what I want. I can change my exposure to however I want it. Then I'm going to click OK. All right. The next thing that I want to do is go to Filter and then Filter Gallery and open up Stylize. And in Stylize, click on the glowing edges. And you can hit Command 0 if you want this to fit your screen. So with the glowing edges, I'm going to take this edge width down all the way to 1. Edge brightness, again, it will depend on your image itself. But I'm going to take it maybe down to a 3. I don't want it real bright. And then smoothness, I'm going to take the smoothness up about 4 or 5, something like that. I can always change these later, so I'm not too concerned. I click OK. And again, I'm going to come over here in the Filter Gallery and double click to change blending options. I'm going to change this one to subtract. And then we get this kind of nice image here. All right, it's looking good. I'm going to go then to Filter. I'm going to click OK, sorry. Filter and Filter Gallery. Cancel that. Filter, Stylize, oil paint. In oil paint, I really kind of want to zoom into my image and see exactly how this is looking. I can now change these sliders for stylization and cleanliness. Make sure that lighting is turned off. Okay, for stylize, again, when I take this up, I'm seeing what's happening to my image, and I can get the desired look that I want for this oil paint filter. I don't want to go too high. Cleanliness, I'm going to go about the lower 5 for each of these, but again, it does depend on the image. Not really liking this too much on the teeth. Yeah, so I'll bring back a little bit more of the definition there, maybe like 3 or so, and click OK. So now I basically have this part of it completed. And I'm going to take this image then and bring it into a new document. At this point, though, you could come over here and, well, I'll show you that later. I'll show you that later. Okay. Now, if I kind of like these settings, I could just open up the other doc that I want to use, the other image. And I don't want you to use any of these, but I'm just going to open up this image of Angelina Jolie. Say OK. I'm going to right-click this layer and make it convert to Smart Object. Make this one a Smart Object too. What I could do is with this, going back to my original image of Scarlett Johansson, I could hold down Alt key, and just click on the Smart Filters, the words, drag this up into my other image, drag it down and drop it, and then it's going to put the same effect on my other image. And then I could always go in and change, some of the settings, changing this for filter gallery. Maybe I want to bring the smoothness down a little bit. Okay, and then it will put that filter on there. The next step is just to open up the doc that we need to place this into. So I would go File, New, and it is a 12 by 12 inch. Change that to inches, and I'm going to crank this up to 300 pixels per inch and say Create. And then I would just go back. Let's say I am going to use this one, and I'm going to drag this into this image and then start building on my my album cover. I'll crank this up. Maybe I want something like that for my album cover. It will look black or in color, and then when you hit return or enter, it will go through this process. Sometimes it takes a little bit, and then it will bring that back again. Okay, and then I can clean this up and do whatever I want with it. I'm going to show another short tutorial after this, but that's it for this one for now. So I'll see you in a second.